Hi friends, Travis here. If you're new to the channel, I want to welcome you, and of course, if you've been here before, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to talk about my likes, dislikes, and give some final thoughts on my MSC Meraviglia cruise that I did back in November. As of the date of this recording, it's been almost 2 months since then, but I'm actually about to go on MSC Meraviglia again next week, 2 weeks, something like that. But I'll be doing Yacht Club, which will be a completely different experience, I'm sure. But yeah, so without further delay, let's go ahead and move right on into the video. If you've never seen one of these videos on my channel before, basically I start with the dislikes. I like to end things kind of on a more positive note. But yeah, so we're going to start with the dislikes, and then the likes and everything will come later. So if it seems overly negative at first, that's okay. Good things are sure to come. The first dislike for this sailing is a little bit specific to me and my situation, but I ended up having my luggage lost on the way to the cruise port. And so I experienced this cruise with very minimal supplies. I had to go shopping in Nassau for clothes and things, and you know, that was an added element that I was not expecting. That did bring down the kind of vibe of the cruise. You know, it made things a little bit more of a bummer, especially at first. I do think I made the most of the sailing, but yeah, I didn't like not having all of the, you know, themed stuff that I brought, like for White Night and, you know, different events, etc. But, you know, I made it work. The second thing that I didn't really like about this sailing is that the bar service was slow, both at Ocean Key on board. If we were sitting in a lounger, if we went up to the bar, we had to like push our way through. We had to, you know, like just, I don't know what it was. Like it seemed like we were invisible the whole time. That happened to me with my sister Maggie on MSC Divina, but this was worse than that by far. I don't know what was going on with the bar staff and why we didn't look thirsty enough or whatever. But I definitely think this is the worst bar service I've had on any sailing ever. And the last dislike is that it was overall a glitchy experience. I've mentioned some of the glitches already with like my lost luggage and bar service and stuff, but even things like disembarkation was really weird. We had to wait in line and it was like chaotic and unorganized. The cruise director wasn't overly friendly. She was definitely out there. You know, I saw her a lot, but I didn't find her to be that approachable. And you know, that kind of sets the tone for the vibe of a sailing is the cruise director and entertainment staff. And so that was kind of lacking. We had issues with the internet at one point. I had to go to guest services multiple times for different kind of glitchy things. So yeah, overall, this was not my favorite cruise. I'm hoping that my next experience on MSC Meraviglia will be better, but we'll see soon. All right, enough of that negative stuff. Let's go ahead and move on into some of the positive things that happened on this sailing and on this trip. The first thing that I really enjoyed was I thought that the entertainment was good. I think we saw every single one of the production shows and they got progressively better throughout the week. The second to the last one was probably the best, and then the final show was all, you know, musicals, which I'm a huge fan of. The singers were good, the dancers were great, the costumes were pretty. Visually, it was a good, you know, experience. I think the theater's a little bit undersized for the ship, but we didn't have issues putting in reservations and getting seats and all that stuff. And yeah, the entertainment was very, very good, in my opinion. The second thing I really liked about this sailing is that it had a good guest vibe. I met quite a few people. I didn't really make friends with anyone like I've done on other cruises, but the overall vibe was good. There weren't too many rowdy guests. We met some flight attendants that were super fun at the LGBTQ meetup and whatever. Sometimes you have to worry about the shorter sailings. They have like, you know, more of the party vibe to them, but that wasn't the case. I really felt like overall the guest vibe was positive and inclusive and all of that. And the last thing I really enjoyed is that the ship wasn't at capacity. We were maybe at like 80% or something, which, you know, made it not feel too overly crowded. There were some instances, like especially at the bars and stuff, where I would have to wait and push through people maybe, but overall I didn't have issues finding loungers. We didn't have to wait in line for a whole lot of things. Getting off the ship at ports was really easy and things like that. So yeah, I think the amount of guests that we had on board was maybe a little more than I would have wanted, but definitely the fact that it was under capacity made it feel more spacious and overall created a better guest experience. And then for my final thoughts, I'll just kind of close things out and say that this was probably one of the worst cruises I've been on, but that's circumstances that happened to me specifically. The cruise line and the cruise ship and the crew and stuff on board were very nice, very accommodating. You know, I wish they would have done more to help me with my luggage issue, but they did do everything that they were supposed to with that on their end as well. I did enjoy myself. I think you can have fun with any cruise, any situation if you allow yourself to, and if you go into it kind of with a negative mindset, you're definitely not going to have as good a time. I did my best to stay positive this sailing. It wasn't perfect, but yeah, I definitely had a good time, and I will definitely sail MSC and the Meraviglia again in the very near future. Let me know if you like MSC or MSC Meraviglia, or if you don't, let me know in the comments below. Let's, talk about it. But anyway, I want to thank you all so much for traveling with me. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all those fun things. We'll talk soon, and y'all have a good night.